Welcome back, my friends. I hope everyone's doing well. It's May 2020. Wanted to do an updated video for the Robigo run. I saw a couple of comments that people were having some trouble, so wanted to hop on and see if this is still viable. And I just looked in the passenger lounge, and there are plenty of passenger missions that are giving a huge amount of money to go to Sothis. So just keep in mind, and I've said this many times, in order to get top dollar, you have to have high reputation with the factions in the system. If you don't worry about it. It really doesn't take long. Anyway, I'm in the Python, the passenger lounge. And we can just go through here, and we're looking for the ones that say serious atmospherics. So there's a 4 million right there. And so that, you know, it's definitely working then, if there's a 4 million. We're gonna go economy 16. So there's a 4 million, serious atmospherics. There's another 4 million, so there's 8 million right there with two passenger cabins. Looking for some more. There's a few like 1 and 2 millions in there, which are still really good. For how easy this method is to farm. There's a 3 million right there. A couple of 2 millions. And we'll look in the very last faction here. 2 million. Yeah, so we got a couple of 4 millions. That's 8 million right off the bat. We'll go ahead and grab this 3 million, and there was another 3 million in the second faction. We're gonna do first 12 just in case that there's a larger... I picked first class 12 just in case there's a larger passenger group that needs to go into. There we go, another 3 million. So we got 2 4s and a 3 already. This is the only one it can go into, so that's fine. Now it's going to narrow them down a little bit. We're going to see if there's any 2 million ones left. There's a 2.5. I'll just go ahead and take it because we know that there was only a few 2 millions left. So 2.5. Go back to the top. See if there's any 2s left. There's a 1, there's a 2.3, and then I believe the middle one had a 2.3. So I'm gonna take this one. And then, yeah, so now it's gonna kind of, because we only have a little bit of space left, we don't really have that many options. So we'll go ahead and take this 1 million. And that's usually how it pans out. Actually, it looks like we're not gonna be able to fill all the cabins. And I kind of find that sometimes when you have the really high level ones that you don't fill all the cabins, I might not have also filled them correctly, as in like I didn't put them into the right class considering all the different missions, because there were still some serious missions left. So that's possible. Anyway, I'm gonna put in the course for Sothis. Again, this Python is like you know, it's like, oh, I guess I have auto launch on it. Anyway, it's fully decked out with passenger cabins, and it's got an upgraded FSD, so I don't need a fuel scoop. Again, and I just want to reiterate this, if you don't have the range to do this, you might need a fuel scoop. I have a 30 jump range, I think, on this thing right now, so I don't necessarily need a fuel scoop. But don't get stuck out in space with all these passengers. You know, if you need a fuel scoop, just put on a little, try to take the smallest space possible. It'll cost you maybe 1 or 2 million a run, but if you save all that money, then eventually you can go get the engineered FSD for the Python. Anyway, super easy, still works perfectly fine. For more detail on exactly what you need, I do recommend you look at the previous Robigo run videos I've done. This is just to show that it still works. I'm not going to go in great detail because I didn't write a script for this video. While we're pitching down for our FSD to cool down, we'll just go into the modules. So there's my frame shift drive. It's a 5A, fully engineered for increased range. Frame shift drive charging. And just with that, I can do this jump. Now you could dial back on, like I could get a longer jump out of this, but even if I did, it would still be 3 jumps regardless. So in my opinion, there's no point to try to reduce the mass or anything, because no matter how I configure this, it's probably going to be 3 jumps regardless. I said 30 light years. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't have 30 light years on this one. I have 30 light years on my Beluga. This one I have like 20 something light years, but it's still enough to get there and back without a scoop. All right, so yeah, it's 3 jumps there, 3 jumps back. You need a 30 light year jump in order to do it in 2 trips. So I misspoke earlier, but I'm used to doing it on the Beluga where I have the 30 light year jump and I can do it in 2 trips. Yeah, so we had, what, 2 4s and a 3, so that's already 11 million. We had, or was it 1 or 2 3s? Maybe it was 2 3s. If it is, then that'd be 14 million. A couple of 2s, so we're gonna make probably around 20 million on this trip. Which isn't bad. It's quick, it's easy, and I get a lot of people who are like, you can make X amount mining, you know, X amount doing this mining. You know, honestly, this is way easier than mining. It doesn't take nearly as much concentration. You have to, when you're mining, you have to constantly scan, and you have to constantly look to your sides for, you know, asteroids that are that might have some sort of resource. It just takes a lot more effort. So this is a very low effort way of making money, of making credits. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get close enough so that the beacon shows up. So once I get close enough, then the beacon will show up, and I can lock onto the beacon instead of the actual planet itself. There it is, Sirius Atmospherics, lock onto that. Super Cruise Assist. And then once we get closer, we're gonna try to pull wide away from the planet so that we don't get stuck in the planet's gravity coming up to the beacon. All right. Coming in. We're slowing down a little bit. There we go. All right, so that's our planet on the left. And we'll have a better idea of where Sirius Atmospherics is when we get closer. You can go closer. Actually, I skimmed that other planet, so that slowed me down, but which usually isn't the case. All right, so we just actually I'm gonna use the planet to slow me down. Okay, there we go. So we should... Okay, perfect. Boom. Perfect. It actually worked out really well. Except I'm 2 kilometers away. So, that was a very bad execution. Very bad execution. But the point still remains that this works really well if you don't do that. There it is. So we're good. And if you want to be more efficient, there's, in my guide on how to do this, it's I show you a much more efficient way on how to actually do this. But anyway, we're done. That's it. We just go back now. We scanned it. As long as we get back to the station, we get our money. And so, you know, I typically will do this in solo play because pirates, as in players, they like to camp these spots. Because this is a really popular place to get money, and you have legal passengers, so once they scan you, they're free to open up on you. But you know, I do recommend solo play. It's a credit farming grind. But if you want the full immersive experience, then you know, go for it. Go and open play, but don't be surprised if you get ganked. Okay, good on that. Charge our FSD. We're just pitching away from the sun every time. Because the FSD has to charge anyway, so we don't have to be right on target until the FSD is fully charged. And by the time we do that, we're far enough away from the sun that our ship's not going to overheat, and that just works out really well. And you can see our fuel gauge on the right. We're still doing great on fuel. Same thing here. So we have FSD cooldown. You can see it on the right there under the cargo scoop tab. Once that's done cooling down, we'll charge. And then when we're almost charged, we'll pitch right back up so that we're right on target. And we won't take any additional heat. Works out very well. So pitch up. Try to avoid that line up with destination. And that's it. We're back in Robigo. Now we just need to get back to the station and call it a day. And I think I did add a docking computer on this ship now that... I think I did afterwards. I was like, we'll go ahead and add one on there. I don't remember what I took off, but... anyway, so... This is super simple because we can just go to the list here, and Robigo Mines is going to be on the list because it's our mission destination. Super Cruise Assist, and we're good. Super easy. Super duper easy. And, you know, it's not... So, Robigo Mines is probably on the other side of this planet, so we'll actually have to watch the time. Or we could pull away a little bit and then come back to it, and maybe we'll get line of sight. But it's not super engaging, but it's kind of relaxing to do this. And you're not necessarily tied down to... Like when you're mining and, you know, unless you just stop in the... I don't know, unless you pull out of the you know, the belt or wherever you are, you're kind of fully engaged in that. And when I'm grinding money, sometimes I will mine, but a lot of times I just like to do something that's relaxing, that I don't have to be fully engaged doing. Sometimes I just like to unwind. There's plenty of PvE and PvP combat to stay engaged with. For me, like grinding like this, I like to be a little bit disconnected. Man, this thing is really on the other side of this planet. See if I can go a little wider. Okay, so yeah, we're good now, I think. There we go, we're good now. So it'll take us in. Anyway, yeah, it's really relaxing. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to do this. You know, if you're grinding for your fleet carrier, which a lot of people are, this is... a grind in any game like that, you know, any sort of grind, whether you're playing like an MMO and you're grinding levels or you're grinding resources, or you play any game that requires a grind like this, it's nice to disconnect. I mean, you can put YouTube on in the background and do both things, and you can enjoy playing the game while watching YouTube or something, or whatever. Because, you know, it's not good. No, I don't want to say it's not good, but it's not necessary to have your mind completely engaged in it and completely firing on all, you know, firing at maximum capacity all the time while playing these games. And that's going to be it. We'll come in, we'll land, we'll get our money. And remember, if you're not fully leveled up with the factions, NPCs will scan you, and if they do that, then you need to pop a heat sink. But once you're fully leveled up with the factions, you shouldn't get scanned by NPCs. Now, if you're in open play, players can still scan you. But again, I don't recommend doing this in open play. Anyway, here we are. We'll get our pad here once we're under 7,500 meters.
Docking request granted.
There it is, and that's our pad. Throw our gear down, just slow us down a little bit. We're gonna come in a little bit hot. Oh, we have auto dock. Boom. I forgot. We have auto dock now. I put that on. Auto dock's nice. Auto dock is nice. That's it. Now, if you do get scanned while you're doing auto dock, I recommend pulling fully back on your throttle and then dropping your heatsink. You cannot drop a heatsink if the auto dock is engaged. If you pull back on the throttle, it's not going to actually pull your ship back. It'll basically just stop you from throttling completely, but it'll disengage the auto dock.
Docking successful.
And that's it. So we just go in here and take a look here. Passenger lounge. We're at 766 million right now. So we'll just collect all these. We're just going to take cash. There's other things you can get. Like there's really good materials you can get. But I'm just doing it for the cash. I don't have room for these materials. But if you wanted to farm the materials, you 100% could do this Robigo run for materials exclusively. We were at 766 before. So we're getting close to 20 mil. And so actually 19 mil on that run, which still not bad. You know, not the most efficient run, and still 20 or 19 mil, just shy of 20 mil. Do that, and now you're ready to go again. We can go back in here and find more missions. And usually if there's not like really high paying missions, there'll be more missions that you can get. But yeah, so there's like a 2.7, there's a couple ones. So now it looks like the really high paying ones are not available, but you'll still be able to fill all your cabins. 2.3, 2.5. You'll be able to fill all your cabins, and with, you know, 1, 2, so there's a 4 million right there. I mean, 4 million to do what we just did. It's crazy. That's crazy money. So there's a 4 million. There's a couple of 2.5 mils. You know, if you have this many cabins, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 cabins, and you average it at 2.5 mil per cabin, because we're in between that 1.5 mil and 4 mil right now. 2.5 times 8. So it puts you right at 20 if you do the average. But sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. It just depends. But anyway, if you guys have questions about this, feel free to ask. Again, a more comprehensive video has already been posted back in February or March, I believe, is when I posted it, to do this specific run at the Robigo mines in the Robigo system. Medium landing pad, no large ships. Recommend using the Python. It seems to be the best ship to do this exclusively for credits. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and until next time.